Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamer Dad channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we have Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint on the chopping block. Actually, we have Ubisoft on the chopping block and Ghost Recon Breakpoint sitting in the corner looking going, what in the world is going on? So there is a new thing on the block. It's called Ubisoft Quartz. Honestly, I don't even know what to think about this. I think this is an NFT system. It basically says this, and I don't necessarily know how I should perceive this. But one of the biggest challenges for me is that the very first few of these NFTs are going to exist in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Now, there's no cause for hysteria just yet. I don't necessarily want to be an alarmist. I want to go ahead and kind of see how this stuff plays out because it appears that there is no other franchise for Ubisoft to test out some of their really interesting ideas. They usually throw it at the Tom Clancy universe. It's like everything that they can test under the waters, they basically toss it here. First, they throw out a concept called X Defiant. Now, whatever you feel or however you thought about Tom Clancy's X Defiant, I mean, I think you can say that it is not necessarily something that is in the Tom Clancy lineage or line of, games and stories and all of the others. And then they tested out this concept by introducing Ghost Recon Frontline, a free-to-play battle arena, 100-player type setting where I think they could have just made another game and called it Ghost Recon, or not called it Ghost Recon, but called it something else rather than Ghost Recon. And now they're bringing these NFTs and they're testing it out in Breakpoint. Now, you have to basically say, okay, what in the world is Ubisoft trying to do? I think what they're trying to do, number one, is they're trying to stay ahead of the curve or ahead of the game. This is one thing that this particular company is very, very good at doing. I mean, if you actually look at some of the newer systems and platforms that are in existence right now, you're going to find out that Ubisoft is actually already there in a sense. I think the only thing Ubisoft doesn't necessarily engage itself too much in, or will, in my opinion, engage itself in, is hardware. But everything in terms of software, online platforms, video game streaming, you can find Ubisoft actually there in the sense that they release new video games on these platforms like Google Stadia. Even though Stadia is not popular, even if it's not necessarily the best thing in terms of its infrastructure, you can see Amazon Lumia. That's also another aspect where they are. And you can also basically go ahead and say that they have their own subscription service as well that a lot of people, in a sense, probably, use. I know some people who actually do use the Ubisoft Plus platform on PC. Now, how does the Ubisoft Quartz thing kind of relate to Ghost Recon Breakpoint? What is the decision making behind this? To be very honest, I can't tell you other than they're just trying to get ahead of the curve. And it seems like Ghost Recon was probably the much more, in a sense, I would say relevant game that was pretty much not a brand new game that was kind of out there that had a huge community around it that they could pretty much toss this idea on. Maybe that's just a guess. But I think we can kind of take a better look at this and kind of see what this is all about. This says Ubisoft Quartz is a new experience for our players. Let's zoom in a little bit. Built upon our vision for creating an ever greater connection between you and the game worlds you love. This is very vague, but whatever. It aims at offering you more autonomy and agency when interacting with the in-game items that help you craft your own story. And I think this is kind of some kind of economy that they're trying to build. They're trying to integrate, in my mind, this new NFT system into Ubisoft games. I think games, according to one of my audience members, Guard, he said very soon we're going to see video games start to appeal to a much more tolerant audience, an audience that's more tolerant of a lot of these microtransactions and economy-filled gaming, that very soon we will not be able to recognize gaming on the AAA side. Perhaps indie games may be able to seize upon this opportunity to provide good and hardcore experiences. But right now, it seems like because the way AAA gaming has a lot of the budgets and all these, they're going to continue to throw down in terms of all of these so-called, in quote, new, things or new inventions that we're seeing. Now, this says this is the place where you can acquire digits, the first Ubisoft NFTs, basically non-fungible tokens, playable in an HD game and relying on an energy-efficient technology. You can basically go down and discover more. Digits will allow you to complete your missions in style, basically cosmetic-based digits. I guess that's what it is. And we're going to be seeing them in the Ghost Recon Breakpoint, in an M4A1 tactical weapon. We're also going to be seeing it in a helmet and in some of the wolf enhanced pants. Basically, that's something that they're probably trying to do. Now it's saying the first 3 editions are free, so you can get the first the first 3 editions. Now, in regard to NFTs, in terms of the way they're traded on the NFT market, I don't really know too much about it. In fact, I have a colleague that's been schooling me on this, which is nice. So I'm not a total idiot, but I wouldn't say I'm actually quite knowledgeable. But I can lean on him. And as you guys are commenting on this video, let me know things that I may be missing as well, because I want to learn and I want to glean from what people know already about all of this. And so you can go and get the first 3 NFTs. If someone is giving you a free item that may be worth, 20 cents one day, I mean, why not go ahead and take it? I remember the Gotham Knights thing. They went ahead and did some NFTs for people who were going to be watching the DC fandom event. I think that's what it was. And I got a free NFT. Now, what's the value or whatever it is? I have no clue. Maybe one day it's going to be like some random weird crap and it'll become valuable. I doubt it, but hey, who knows? And then it also says, you have to enjoy the uniqueness of these digits, limited editions, serial numbers, and then player names. I think this is what the NFT economy kind of thrives on, that things are limited or these digital items are limited and all of that stuff. But for some of us, we don't necessarily care. To be very honest, I'm not really a big, person who's quite in a sense concerned about all of these digital aspects of things. But again, I just want to kind of be toned down in my own expression as to what this is. In fact, the first thing I said was, what the heck is this? Like when I first saw it, I didn't even know what to think. I was like, but this, in my opinion, doesn't seem to, in a sense, resonate with me anyways. And I'll tell you guys why as we end this video. And then it's talking about energy efficiency, which I don't really know how you can be energy efficient in this kind of technology that's going to be harnessing a lot of our equipment and technology right now. Because if you think about gaming PCs, if you think about the new consoles as well, we don't necessarily see anywhere where the biggest highlight of your new Xbox Series X and S is energy efficiency. I don't think that was something that was really marketed. Instead, everything that was marketed was power, more frames, more resolution, more this. And so I don't necessarily know what's going on. But at the end of the day, you can come here and read the FAQ and see exactly, maybe your questions will be answered. But in my opinion, I think what this is probably going to do is probably overstretch Ubisoft in terms of them basically putting their hands into everything. This company is one of those companies that wants to grow extremely big, but necessarily is failing to bury its roots into the things that are already successful in terms of their business model. Now, I don't know what the philosophy is. This is a company that is run by, a very select number of people and as well as investors. I hope the investors will be able to somewhat, check a lot of what's going on. I think they have a lot of say. I'm hoping that they'll have these conversations and be able to kind of get in a place where at the end of the day, the gaming experience is still at the core of all of this. Because if this stuff scales out of hand and the gaming experience eventually kind of, falls into the cracks, then I think Ubisoft is probably going to maybe wake up or find itself in a really weird situation where it has to, in a sense, compensate by probably running around, or at least if it doesn't want to ignore the core aspects of gaming, they can do this one thing that they're trying to do with this Quartz stuff on the side while they're bringing out really solid gaming experiences. Because already this is not necessarily going to pass the sniff test until they make their audience members very happy. And in the time of this, pandemic and all of the others, I think you can say that the entire community of the Ubisoft games across the board, Assassin's Creed, Tom Clancy games, are not necessarily overjoyed. I think maybe you can say a little bit delighted with the changes made with Recon Breakpoint, and maybe you can say some delight with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because those are the two games. But when you look at Tom Clancy's The Division, there isn't any ecstatic, enjoyment and celebration going on there. So this may not be something that will resonate at the moment. I'm also hoping that Star Wars and Avatar, in terms of the IP owners, do not allow for this to actually be on their games, while Ubisoft is also currently making those games and getting ready to publish them. So again, this is just kind of weird all around, but guess what? Other companies are going to make games that focus on gamers. And I think Ubisoft is more than likely going to be checked by these external marketing factors as well, because just in a few hours from when you're going to watch this video, depending on when you watch it, Halo campaign is going to be out. I'm looking forward forward to that. That is something that I actually do want to play. And so there are going to be other games out there that don't necessarily care about this. Thankfully, they're creative directors, they're decision makers that don't necessarily feel like this should be in gaming. I would mention a slew of them, but this video has already run longer than I intended for it to. But I want to, like I said, hear your thoughts in the comment section. And I don't know how it is you perceive this, but it'll be interesting to see how across the gaming industry or across the gaming scene, a lot of us basically share our opinions about all of this. All right, talk to you guys in another video. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.